Lisa.
And I'm Rasheida.
And
We're
we're
the
the
Bennetts.
Bennetts. How are you today? How are you today?
I am doing well. How are you?
I am doing well. We had a bit of a crazy early morning. Rasheida got up and cooked this. She's been on this healthy thing. That's actually what we're going to talk about today, a little bit, the health stuff. But Rasheida's been on this healthy thing with the Tai Chi, and now I'm doing slides and just an all round effort. But she made oatmeal and stuff, and she's making me eat more and more and more and more and more and more. Did I say more vegetables than I was already eating? And so
Vegetables and fruit and healthy things.
now don't get me twisted. I did eat those things, but now I have to air fry
Forcefully?
everything and stop it. So anyhow, this episode really we spend most of the time with answering questions about the mechanics of relationships and how we've overcome things, etc. But one of the serious topics, and actually one of the series that we've launched this coming up this next week or so, is about minding your health, minding your business. I said your health, minding your business, and it's really about taking care of your business, your paperwork, and that kind of stuff.
Yes.
But we've mentioned from time to time the journey that we've had around health issues, and so we decided we would spend a little bit of time talking about our personal journeys and giving you some practical day-to-day steps that we take currently, and if all possible, help people take some action on a journey to becoming more healthy themselves.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. She summed it up.
Okay, so I will start. I
Okay.
think I'll start.
Go for it.
So for some of you, we've talked about weight loss and all that stuff in some of the episodes, and what some of you may or may not be aware of is not too long ago. Well, it's been 16 years now. I was about 308 pounds.
Time ago.
Which is some time ago, right? So right now I'm probably about 140-ish. This is the heaviest I've probably been in a long time. But the thing is that I've been able to maintain. Yeah, she always makes that face because she goes, "You was 308." That's not the point. Once you get down to being 120 or something, you like that, then you don't want to go up and back and forth. It's kind of like when you drive that Mercedes after you've been driving a Vega. You don't want to go back to a Vega, right? And so I really
140 is
that's
so
not the point.
far
The
from
point
three.
is
Okay.
I would prefer to be smaller. Although you wouldn't be able to tell that by some of my habits.
Nope.
But anyway, in doing that, it took some effort in changing the way that I look at food, changing the way that I thought about food and processed food, and deciding that I didn't necessarily, if I wanted chicken wings, I didn't have to eat a dozen before the taste was satisfied. But I did that, and I walked 10,000 steps a day and did some very practical things to help me
That was fun.
lose weight. But some of that too had to do with limiting the kinds of foods, the milk and a lot of dairy. I still like cheese a little bit, but I don't eat it as much.
And the hour in which you
The
eat
hour
it
in which
at.
I ate, and then sugar, cutting out a lot of the sugar.
Yes.
So again, this episode was really about sharing some of the journey and things that we've done to make things practical. And again, I did 10,000 steps a day, limited my sugar intake to 5 grams per serving for whatever I was eating. I ate more meat, but now part of the journey that we're on is to become less meat. I want to be vegetarian by the end of 2020. We'll talk about that a little bit later.
What?
Yeah, but she's trying to act like she never heard
No,
about that. But
no,
anyway,
she said the end
she's
of
pushing the
2020?
agenda on that anyway herself. And definitely have incorporated things like, we got into it this morning because I wanted an omelet, and it was mostly veggies, and she let me have a little bit of ham, but not a lot of meat in it, and she made me do it in coconut oil, and I'm like, I gotta give up butter too. So anyhow, and it actually tasted fine. I just like to give her a hard time about things, and that's the big thing.
Wow.
When you're trying to control your weight, that kind of stuff, all of the whole fad diet stuff doesn't really work because it's got to taste good. It's got to be stuff that you can incorporate and live with on a regular basis. So that really, my journey was about the 10,000 steps a day. Put on a pedometer. It's easy to do. Park far out in the parking lots if you go somewhere, if you go out of the house. Park out far away from the door so that you get the steps going in.
Yep.
But if you put on a pedometer to the 10,000 steps a day and you cut down your sugar, take in more vegetables, again, very practical. Take your plate, divide it in half. Try to keep it to fish and chicken on one side. Stay away from the red meat if you can, because I cut out a lot of beef. And then the rest of it was just, half a cup of carbs, because you got to have some carbs, but the rest of it was all green vegetables. And I'll tell you, when we get to some of the more practical things, that we're going to just run off a list for you how I'm actually getting my greens in now with less effort. So I'll let Rasheida have it from here to talk about some of what she had to contend with and why she started to go down this journey.
Well, about 16 years ago,
Same time frame.
right, we were on a family trip, and I ate something that just did not agree with me. When I say did not agree with me, it broke my face and upper body out completely. I was swollen. I had hives. They were weeping. It was painful. And it always got to the point where if you looked at my skin, it looked at it as if I had been burned. And my body was just sluggish. I was gaining all this weight. I couldn't figure out what was going on. I knew that my eating habits had changed, not for the good, but so I went to the natural food store, and I literally did a lot of research and trying to find the most natural way. And it started with just the things that were in my cabinet. Just some of you'd be surprised at a lot of the seasonings that you use on your food is actually really healthy for you, but you have to just use them in the right combination. And it's like you can have all the different pieces, but if you don't have the right 3 or 4 together, and they unlock a whole new
Whole new world, right?
Yeah, a whole new world, basically. And so I went to the natural food store, found this. I did a 30-day cleansing. I cleansed my system, and then I just started trying to find the most natural products. And that's where the birth of my product line, Passionate Pampering product line, began. And a few of the things that I definitely changed in my diet was I've always liked green tea. But I always, liked the Arizona green tea, which is a good one, and it has very low sugar. So now I take hot green tea, and I add turmeric to it. Now, the reason why I'm adding turmeric is because it's a natural inflammatory. Now, I was diagnosed with inflammatory arthritis about, I'm going to say, almost 10 years ago. And it was to the point where I was bedridden. I could barely move. I could barely walk. My hands were swollen. I couldn't open a soda can or a top or anything. And my body was just painful. So when you're in that much pain, and it attacks your joints. So when you're in that much pain, you can't move. So you can't move. You can't be mobile. You can't work. You can't move. You're going to do what? Continue to gain weight. Then you become sluggish. And it was so many things that were just making it really, really hard for me. My whole life changed. I was a dancer. I was active. I was a praise dancer. All of those things cut out. But I definitely had to find a natural remedy that would heal my body and give me my life back. So that's basically my process, how I do it. And I also, I'm sorry, I forgot one more thing. I drink constantly water. Water is the key to, you got to stay hydrated. And if you add a little bit of lemon juice or freshly lemon squeezed juice, it turns it into alkaline water. And alkaline water is even better for your body. So if by me just adding a little bit of lemon juice, adding turmeric, even to my turmeric to my tea, or some ginger to your tea, it makes a world of a difference. And it did for me. So that's my little bit I gotta share.
In addition with our separate journeys, we had a pivotal moment in time where we moved from the East Coast to the Midwest because my elderly family members were also ill. And so although we had started down this journey separately, trying to address our individual ailments, we ended up stumbling, purposefully, I would say, stumbling onto finding more ways to combine different, like she said, household ingredients. So I came up with this, I didn't come up with it. I saw some other studies about Dr. Sebi and other folks who did mucus busters and what they believe some of the reasons for disease were in our body, and so it started to mess around with different combinations of things. And my grandmother and my mom all fell ill, but we started to really, even our dog, we started to really create, we created concoctions for our dog. So we've moved consistently towards finding more natural and holistic ways of dealing with some of the stuff. And so there's a thing called a mucus buster. We talked about that in other episodes. We talked about it in the Let's Talk series a couple times. Mm-hmm. We're going to post, actually I did a small video. We're going to post that video for folks who are interested in that. They can go on and download that recipe. And again, I encourage you to start looking at some of your own recipes and stuff. But I want to give you a list of some of the more practical things we have done that you can pick up and start doing right away, and not just necessarily tied to our story. So, for example, particularly with this advancement of this COVID-19 thing,
Yes.
and how it attacks your respiratory system. So, not only does something like a mucus buster, now when I say that, I've created it in a way that you can just add it as like a seasoning to your food to help keep your system clean. But not only can you use something like a mucus buster, Rasheida has mentioned she started with essential oils and creating her own body product line. So we've taken some of the essential oils, peppermint, eucalyptus, and we spray the showers, the walls in our shower in the morning. And when you take that hot, steamy shower with that eucalyptus and all stuff, it opens up everything. So we both do that every day.
It helps tremendously.
Some of the other practical things, there's a thing called an emergency, which is really just a shot of vitamin C. We both take that with a glass of orange juice every day. Yes. So we do the shower, the emergency. We do. I mentioned to you having the greens, and I love greens. Greens, if you're African American, greens. But I don't like all kinds of green vegetables necessarily. But there is a powder that we take. People were on this green smoothie cleanse
Yes.
diet for a while.
I was.
It's really a version of that, but it's powder based. So you take a scoop of that each day and you throw it in a blender with some ice and some other fruit juices and that kind of stuff, and you get the same impact and effect of eating all the green vegetables, but you get all of the nutrients from the greens in one shot.
Yep.
So that's something that we do. The showers, the vegetable greens drink. Believe it or not, prayer. We do a meditation and prayer every morning. That helps keep your mind and turn the TV off sometimes. Those again are very practical steps. Rasheida has mentioned that she does, what was it? Turmeric and what other couple other things you do?
Turmeric, the ginger. Also, we also want to use, if you can, in your seasoning, garlic.
Yeah.
Garlic is a huge benefit to your body, your mind. It just helps.
It helps
combat,
with clarity.
Yes. And I also, of course, she said earlier that I do a lot of Tai Chi. I'm also starting a little bit of yoga for beginners. Now, listen, a lot of people go, oh, yoga, that's just too much. It's too much stretching. Listen, it's called the beginners for a reason. And believe it or not, it centers you. And people, when I say center, people go, oh, here she goes. She's going all spiritual. She's going all crazy on me. No. You have to have some type of symmetry. You have to have some your foundation and your body has to align. You have to find something that makes you feel whole or gives you some type of calmness or peace. And if it's Tai Chi, whether it's chanting, whether it's yoga, if it's reading the Bible, if it's just listening to soothing music. And another one that we do is affirmations. We listen to our affirmations
daily meditation.
And we usually do them just as before we get ready to go to bed. And we journal. We both journal at bedtime. We listen to our affirmations. We cut off the light. It is important to turn that TV off. It's important to make it dark in your room. Something soothing to relax you and go to sleep. So you got a good night's sleep. And one more other thing I want to mention is that Rasheida's growing a lot of weeds in the basement right now. So oh my gosh. Okay, let's
I keep saying that.
Clear.
She's making a
it's not
garden.
Weeds.
And getting back to gardening because for two reasons. One, it's healthy exercise. It's an exercise. We started indoor, but it was good exercise. When I was a kid, my grandmother had this huge garden. So we had to go out there and help till and do those things. But we started ours indoors. That way, you're not relying so much on what's at the store, particularly when times will get like this and we're quarantined or what have you. You can't get out for one reason or the other. Then you have control over some of those things in your own home. So we gave you gardening. We gave you a list of different spices that we use. We told you about the steam baths. I'm just trying to summarize it for folks. Limiting the amount of animal fat that you take in from milk and stuff like that. Limiting the amount of sugar. Those are very practical steps that you can incorporate like now, tomorrow, without any big deal. But in addition to that, we have also, so as we move through phases, again, it was my journey, her journey, our journey together, taking care of our family. And now we're on, I'll say, our next phase for us. Since we've gotten the food thing and things in process, what we're trying to do is to make our house more green and be more responsible and respectful to the earth. Because part of the problem is what's going on that is bigger than us. We have created, as mankind, as humankind, we've created some bad conditions, and some of it is no doubt the earth responding to our neglect of it.
Yes, it is.
And so we are in the process too. Rasheida bought some new toothpaste and things like that are all natural, and I can't tell you, ting, my teeth feel great. I was telling her, I was like, I was brushing my teeth, and now all of a sudden they squeaky. I mean, you get them good and clean, but they're squeaking. And I said, man, this is some good stuff. So all I'm saying is, very practical stuff that you can incorporate. She's found a resource that we can get some of this stuff, cleaning stuff to help with some of the viruses and diseases and stuff we're dealing with. So I'm gonna turn that over to her again, and because she can talk about. I don't purchase stuff for our house necessarily. We do have our roles in that regard, and so I'm going to let her talk about that. But I know that what we do want to do is we want you to take some action. We want you to take some action. Just to become healthier for yourself, to become more educated for yourself, and then I'm gonna let my honey bunny baby here, honey bunny. Sometimes you get tongue tied, honey bunny, honey baby, and you want to say too much at one time. But I'm gonna let her talk about what we call a call to action. Like I said, taking some steps, and maybe perhaps where you can find some of the stuff that we use that will help you at least start your journey. You got it?
Okay, so basically, as my wife did say here, that we found a manufacturing company that just really has taken healthiness to a whole nother level for us. We thought it was just things that you put in your body, and that's the only way that you could be healthy. But there are many more elements to healthiness. This company, it's just basically all of your essentials are green. Right now, the 3 trends are being green, online shopping, and cost effectiveness. That's basically it. And this company itself, it teaches you how to be more conscious in things that you use in your home. Well, now, when I say essential, I mean your cleaning products. I mean your soaps that you use, your toothpaste that you use, your mouthwash. Like something as simple as your toothpaste. I don't know if you ever realize it, but on the back of your toothpaste, if you look at the very bottom of the toothpaste, there's a line, and it's either a red or a blue. Those lines indicate the level of toxicity in the.
I didn't know none of that, so I'm learning too.
In the toothpaste, but I found that out a while ago. But I never really I was like, yeah, it's what it is. We need toothpaste, but I didn't know there was another option. There's a healthier option. So if you are interested in figuring out, want to do some healthier options for you, not just in your food, but also in your everyday living, let us know. Just give us a call. I mean, don't call me. Don't call her.
You can email us at lisaandrashida@gmail.com or leave some comments below. If you leave some comments below, we'll be sure and get back to you again. We've got a number of resources now identified, and we'll be happy to share them with you. So hopefully, the idea behind this particular episode was not to talk about the mechanics of the relationship, but as you can see, it is the mechanics of the relationship that make it all work, because she knows what we're consuming because she buys it all. She's a little more proactive in finding the sources and resources for us to get it, and I do appreciate that about her. And I know that although I give her a hard time, it's really for my benefit, because the longer and the better and the more healthier I am, the longer I'm here, the more life we can enjoy together. And, we have a dog, and if we're using cleaning products and all that kind of stuff, then she's probably getting sick too from licking her dogs out. What animals do, what they do, they lick, they crawl, they scratch, they
lay
do
on
all
everything.
That. And so it's just good to have healthy stuff all the way around. So again, if you're interested in how we acquire some of those things, what our resources are for them, hit us up by leaving a comment below or subscribe, always subscribe to the channel, but you can email us directly at lisaandrashida@gmail.com. And I think, did we cover all the bases we intended to cover? This was not a relationship mechanics situation. This is about just sharing some of the stuff that we have found to be practical and you can be successful at really easily and quickly. All right.
All right, you did correct.
All right. So thank you again for tuning in. We'll get back to some of your questions in a couple days.
Peace.
Peace.